Hello, this is Hanru from Eden Proxy, and which is repurposed from my videos. And this is our first interview with after my videos getting repurposed into Eden Proxy. So we are here with Ryan Betham from EOS42 and Chintai and Checks now. So Ryan, the first off, I'm gonna ask you if you agree with the core principles of
Sure.
MyVoteUse for
Yeah,
now Eden Proxy. So first question is that do you agree that you won't engage with vote buy after you get voted?
correct.
All right.
We agree.
Okay. Do you are you willing to provide a financials and operations report on a regular basis?
Yes.
All right. And you won't be spinning up a second MVP under the same ownership.
No, we will not do that.
All
Yeah.
right. And then you know that you know the votes could be taken out if you engage with any of those three things after you get voted.
We understand. Yeah, completely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Mm. Um, Now, would you be able to tell us yourself about yourself and EOS42 team?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Ryan Betham. My background was actually in clinical psychology before I got into the blockchain space about 4 years ago. I met the core team that formed EOS42 and then moved on to develop the Chintai project later on. Those two co-founders are Philip Hamnett and David Packham. David Packham, as some of the people probably know, has 20 years finance background out of London. And Philip is a physicist. He wrote security software for Airbus and worked at the CERN Hadron Collider. And he's the CTO of the company. So in terms of EOS42, I think a lot of people probably know that we were one of the first block producers and a major contributor to the network. And one of the first projects that we did, besides governance and community and the rest of the initiatives we had there, was building Chintai, which at the time was a token leasing exchange, which was the ability to basically lease out bandwidth to people that needed it on the EOS blockchain at the time. Different kind of configuration, Rex came along, et cetera, things evolved. But back then, that's what the Chintai project was about. And something that I think in going into this process and talking to the team internally and seeing how it aligned with our philosophy, I think an example of this was when Chintai kind of exploded initially. There was this bandwidth sort of shortage. And, if you remember, there was these gambling apps and all this stuff going on. And Chintai was kind of keeping the network running, but it also had about 20, 25 million votes in it, right? Which was a lot. It had the ability to really change the way that the landscape of the voting profile looked, and kind of challenged the existing sort of nexus of control that existed with the exchanges at the time. We were able to kind of push things around a bit. The way we handled that proxy, though, instead of trying to kind of get in cahoots with the other exchanges and start this sort of like vote trading, vote buying sort of scheme, is we basically assigned independent individuals to make the decision collectively as to how that voting profile would look. And so we didn't have full control. We gave up control, and we saw that as a very important part of what would be needed for network health. That there wasn't going to just be this sort of like very internal and tight network of people that control all these votes and make sure that that power is instilled. Because then what that leads to, like you're saying, there were sock puppets, there were BPs that weren't doing anything, very clearly just extracting from the network. And at the time, philosophically too, I think a lot of people wanted block producers to participate, to really reinvest into the network as much as possible. I know you shared that vision. We talked about it a lot, many other BPs, and trying to figure out a way to possibly get to that vision. And it's been a struggle for years. So I think, we've monitored this. We tried to change the reg producer contract. We tried to, which we did successfully do, by the way. If people are wondering, you can go back and look at that. But we've been trying to work on this whole thing for a really long time. So as a part of EOS42, very well aligned, and something that we want to see move forward with this network. As a block producer, of course, we'll provide the infrastructure that's already available and ready to go if we were to be in the top 21 today. But I think we're going to continue to bring in our perspective Chintai evolved into a much different project beyond token leasing. We don't do that anymore. We're now focused on building a network for compliant projects that want to basically incorporate some form of regulation and compliance into the token issuance that they're doing. And so we have a network for that that's interoperable with the EOS mainnet, so you can send tokens across to each network. So we see ourselves as basically building out a part of this ecosystem that is not really being tackled within the antelope sort of sphere, right? Which has to do more with regulated blockchains and compliance. And we are very happy to announce on the back of that too, that we just received our CMS license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, which allows us to issue securities. We don't just do securities, we can do utility tokens, carbon credits, other types of things as well. So that's going to continue to be a major focus for us, getting adoption, building liquidity on this network, and having something that can interact directly with the EOS blockchain as well, and that entire community. So yeah, we look forward to participating in this as it evolves, and hopefully there'll be a sort of, I guess, a resurgence or reinvigoration or whatever we want to call it of excitement that, you know, if you were around 4 years ago, that was an exciting time, you know, and I think there's a lot of those same people are still here, are still excited and want to do things. So hopefully this next few years, you know, we'll start to see, I think more of a vision that a lot of people had going into this community, right? You know, it kind of got hijacked, whether it be like from vote buying or, you know, the entity that, you know, started the fundraise that, you know, led to EOS.io, you know, so we're kind of moving on from all that, building our own identity. And I think trying to recapture the original philosophy, that's where we're at. So we'll definitely be in support of that all the way through.
All right, Ryan. I mean, I'm so happy to have you onboarded. So yeah, let's see what happens. Thank you
Cool.
for being here, and I'll see you later.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers, on. Yeah. Bye-bye.